I have to burp.
I should have pressed play sooner.
I don't know if it's coming now.
Camera's rolling.
Shoot.
You got it?
No.
Is it coming? Is it gone? Alright.
Kaishaba.
Okay, Shabbat. Ready? Let's go.
Let's begin.
Let's begin. Yes, close enough. I'll take it. I'll take the gist. How's it going, everybody? So in past videos, I have mentioned my inspiration for learning Spanish was actually my sister, Jenny. And that's kind of weird because she doesn't necessarily speak Spanish. You took 3 years of Spanish in high school, but she's not here for Spanish right now. She is here because she knows Chinese, which is really different, but cool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What I wanted to do today was just ask her like maybe 3 questions or something like that about how Chinese has kind of changed her life, or kind of the way that she's kind of gone through the process of learning Chinese, so that for you guys that are learning whether it's Spanish or any other language, you can see kind of how it can kind of open up your world to a whole bunch of different possibilities, right? Question number 1 for Jenny is, why China?
I went to China in 2015 to work with a nonprofit organization over there. Actually, an organization that didn't focus as much on Chinese people, focused more on Africans and people from South America. So it was a unique situation that brought me to China.
And then while you were there, you kind of fell in love with China, or basically you went there a few times in college, and then you ended up going back with this nonprofit, right? And you ended up staying for how long?
5 years.
5 years. Okay, so question number 2. You were there for 5 years. You started learning Chinese, obviously, while you were there. How long did it kind of take you to get to a point where you were actually comfortable with the language, comfortable with speaking it to people on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, so my first year, like I said, I was working with people from different cultures, so not as much with people from China itself. And so I was doing a lot of just taking in the language. So I had a tutor for 2 hours a week, and that was it for the entire first year that I was there. And then I studied with the books that I had, but really didn't have a ton of opportunities to use it because I was working with internationals so much.
Okay, so while you were there, it was mostly input, trying to get stuff into your brain, but you weren't actually able to use it necessarily or start to speak with people too much.
Yeah, that first year. After that, my job changed, and so I was able to work with Chinese people directly, and so I had, from that first year, a lot of language in the brain somewhere. It just hadn't come out yet. And so by the time the second year rolled around and I had opportunities to start using it, it actually came out really quickly. So I think it's a lot like what happens to a baby. They take in,
Yeah.
and then at some point it comes out quickly, and they're just talking all the time, and you don't know why it happens so quickly.
That's really cool. So basically, the initial part of learning a language is just a ton of input, trying to get the knowledge into your head. How it actually starts to come out, obviously you have to kind of force yourself to use it. You have to force yourself to use it, but the more that you do use it, the more fluid and effective that it gets. So how long, at what point from the very beginning until the end? I remember a specific story you told me one time, but I wanna know, like, how long did it take you until you started to feel like you could have day-to-day conversations with people or things like that?
I would say towards the end of that second year, I was definitely able to be conversational with people. Year 3 really just grew that knowledge and felt a lot more comfortable in those conversations that I was having in year 2. And by years 4 and 5, it was just natural.
Yeah, normal for you. So just kind of goes to show that even with a really difficult language like Chinese, even in 2 years, you can become to a point where you're comfortable, somewhat comfortable anyway, to get around, get by, all that kind of thing. So the specific story that I was thinking of, and I don't know if you remember telling me this, but I remember it was about 2 years after you left, and you were telling me that I finally feel like I'm getting this because I was able to get angry with a cab driver for taking me the wrong direction or something along those lines.
That's very true. I do remember that.
So I remember that story, and I just thought it was super funny, super cool, to be able to express. Not that it was cool to be able to express anger, but to be able to realize, oh shoot, this isn't right, and have to do something about it. Otherwise, you'd end up paying a lot of extra money for the extra distance or whatever you were going to end up having to go. And basically, it saved her a bunch of money because she knew how to speak the language.
And some time.
And time.
Frustration.
And frustration. So knowing the language obviously helps. Okay, now, question number 3. Moving on from there. What has learning another language? Chinese, yes, that is your language of choice at this point. What has that done for you in terms of opening up your world, opening up opportunities, possibilities, and things like that?
Yeah, I think the first thing that comes to mind is, I guess, my 3rd and 4th year there, I actually transitioned from having a tutor to studying in a university there. So I got a couple different methods of learning. But I had classmates from all over the world, and one of my best friends during my time there was actually from Yemen, and he didn't speak any English at all. And so I would be sitting next to this person in class that we have no mutual language until I learned Chinese. And so I think just the opportunity to speak to people from so many different parts of the world is the best door that it's opened.
Yeah, I think that's a cool story too, because literally your native language and their native language, neither of you had any knowledge of, but this language in the middle, you could communicate with each other, and that's super cool, really cool. And I think that's kind of something that I want to be able to do as well. I want to be able to communicate with somebody who they may have zero knowledge of my language, but I have a knowledge of theirs, and I can share things with them, they can share things with me, and we can still communicate. I just think that's the coolest thing, and that's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm learning another language. I want to be able to communicate with a whole nother group of people that I wouldn't be able to otherwise. Super cool. Anyway, thanks for joining us. Alright guys, so leave me a like if you like this video, or if you like my sister.
Rude.
Anyway, see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.